Ever wonder how editors can take really flat, lifeless footage and make the color look cinematic and clean and polished? Well, today I'm going to take you behind the scenes and I'll walk through the steps that I take for color correction on podcast footage. And by the end, you'll be able to see all the steps that I take to get professional looking results. And I'll be able to talk to you a little bit more about my color correction workshop that's coming up soon. And if you're new here, then welcome. I am so glad you're here. My name is Adrienne and I make tutorials on video editing. If you are interested in a beginner-friendly color correction checklist, follow the link in the description box below. And otherwise, let's get into it. As you can see, I have two clips here from a podcast recording, but the color on both clips is pretty flat and dull. This is exactly the kind of footage that I might get from a client, and the great news is that it is totally fixable. It's all about workflow and order. First, let's examine our footage in the waveform Luma. We can see that our blacks are pretty high, and our whites are pretty low. That means this image does not have a broad dynamic range, and that will be something we want to change. Moving the playhead over to the second clip, we can see a very similar problem. The whites are a little bit higher, but not quite high enough, and the blacks are also high. So again, we will want to crush the blacks and raise the whites in order to broaden this image's dynamic range as well. On the first piece of footage, we will want to open basic correction. As you can see, you can come all the way down to light, and we have lots of options for adjusting the dynamic range of this image. Let's bring up the highlights and let's drop the shadows. Already, the image is becoming more interesting and less flat. If we move the playhead over to this clip, we can make the same adjustments. Come over to light in basic correction, and let's bring up the highlights a bit, and let's drop the shadows a bit. And as you can see, we already have more dimension in the program monitor. Now look, you can already see a huge difference in those two pieces of footage, and all we've done is change the highlights and the shadows. We haven't adjusted saturation, we haven't corrected skin tone, we haven't done white balance, and we haven't done any color grading, and already there's a really big difference there. Now, this is not exclusively color correction, but I thought I would open up the color wheels and match and just show you what these three sliders can do. You can see you've got the color wheel here with crosshairs in the middle, and if you slide those crosshairs up in this orange direction for the midtones, you can see the image begin to warm up. I'm going to make the shadows a little bit cool, but I'm going to keep the highlights kind of warm, I think. And already we're starting to get a little bit more color and dimension into this piece of footage. The last thing that I'll do is open up Creative, come down. I'm going to bump up the saturation just a little bit. I'm going to bump up the vibrance just a little bit. And now we're starting to get a person who looks far more cinematic and a lot less dull and lifeless. In my color correction workshop, I show you how to focus exclusively on color correction. I walk you through a clear step-by-step process that you can use on any piece of footage you wind up getting. And remember, good color correction is kind of like stretching a canvas over a frame before you start painting. If you don't have that good, clean base, everything stacked on top of it is going to be pretty problematic. I want to turn this Lumetri effect on and off for you so you can see the work that we did. This is where we started, and this is where we ended. Of just a few quick tweaks, and we have more natural looking skin tones, we have a broader dynamic range, and more interesting color going on. And we haven't even started color grading yet. And that's it from me. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you'd like to see more. Leave a comment below and let me know what kind of footage you'd like me to show you next. And remember, check your footage, color correct, then color grade. That's the secret to professional looking color. I hope you found this tutorial helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.